love that intro music. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Pixel Scouters. I'm your host, Pat O'Reilly, along with Rob Green. Today we got a very special guest, Aaron. How's it going? Aaron from Married Makers.
Hey, how's it going? I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good. Living it up. So
excited to have you here, man.
Tell us first off, for people that don't know what Married
here.
Makers is, because that's what it's your business now. It's like this. That's the now. Before we go into the origin story, let's hear a little bit. Tell us briefly what it's all about.
Sure. My wife and I, Wendy, run a small business called the Married Makers. We specialize in prop making, building, specifically 3D printing, from stuff from games, movies, TV shows, comics, basically any nerdy culture stuff that tickles our fancy. Done a variety of costumes. We've done prop commissions. As individuals, we've worked on a variety of stuff too, like for other companies. We specifically focus in cosplay, but we're hoping to expand.
That's cool. I love it. It's real interesting.
So I want to jump in and just ask, like, who are your clients? Like, who do you typically sell to? Do you sell finished props to just like the average consumer that's like a Star Wars fan and wants a lightsaber, or like what,
Well, now we don't do as much custom commissions, but before we've done props for other cosplayers. Some pretty popular cosplayers, usually local ones within the Ontario, GTA, maybe Simcoe area. We've done Overwatch weapons, variety of Overwatch weapons, Mercy staffs, tracer guns. Sometimes we provide people with just the raw prints. They'll finish it themselves. Sometimes we do the finished stuff. Sometimes we provide just the 3D models. Pardon me, because that's what Wendy and I mostly specialize in is 3D work because of our animation backgrounds. I did a commission for a bank last year before COVID started. I had a friend reach out. She works for a bank, and she reached out, and they're doing internal commercials. Can't say which bank or for what, but they just needed little props done. So we just made little props. We've done models for some old animation studios we used to work for. We have friends there, and they wanted to pitch a show to some clients. So they had us 3D print some character models, and we paint up like little maquettes. You'd see in like Disney studios and stuff, and they kind of have those little turnarounds or like busts or stuff. We do stuff like that.
So cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
we've done a variety of things.
I'm kind of thinking of like Adam Savage from Mythbusters.
Fucking love Adam Savage.
I went down a rabbit hole with my wife, and this was like a couple years ago, and we just watched the shit out of his YouTube channel because he like visits other prop makers, and he'll fly around to like Hollywood studios in New Zealand that do like entire sets. And it's so cool. Like they make this huge like exoskeleton of like the alien from Alien, and then it's like made out of styrofoam and painted.
Oh yeah. Hollywood magic, man. Sometimes you think like, how did they do that? But half the time it's like pink foam, like the Pink Panther foam that's just layered and cut. Sometimes it's more obvious.
I am nonetheless impressed.
Yeah. But sometimes it's like, I've never worked on like TV or movie sets, but I have some friends who have, and the stories I've heard and the stuff they do is absolutely phenomenal. Something actually I really love about this industry is just the variety of stuff that people have done here and there and everywhere. You get so many cool stories, and you're like, oh yeah, I want to do that, and then you want to do that, and then you hear stories from other people, and you just kind of go all over the place. But it's fantastic, the community, I guess you'd say, how tight knit and how I don't know where I'm going with this.
Well, I mean, no, I like it.
I want to know. Went on a tangent there.
A big community like this. Are you often pulling in people to assist you with projects, or also jumping in with them to help them on their stuff if you sort of specialize in one aspect or another?
So I have one friend that I worked with at Henchman. Great guy. He's helped, or he's like one of my go-to guys for like a help on certain things that I'm still fairly new on. Like when it comes to 3D printing, I'm pretty well versed in that. Wendy is very well versed in that as well. But when it comes to stuff like molding and casting, we're still very, very new to that whole world. And I have a friend who I definitely go to for help. Like if I have a commission, I'm like, hey dude, this is what I'm working on. Can I get your opinion? would you use this type of silicone? What would you do for this? And he's like, oh yeah, I would try that. And vice versa. He's like, I need some models, or I need something printed, or a prop for a show he's working on. And I need a quick turnaround. I have to have it by tomorrow. So we're like, okay.
God, it's almost always a quick turnaround, right?
Yeah, I know, right? Like,
I need it yesterday, and I want to pay nothing. You pay. In fact, you pay me.
It's funny. It's the same like animation and practical effect. Like the prop world and animation, they're just like, we need it done. And you're like, but it's not possible. Buzzwords, movie magic, get it done. You're like, what?
Yeah.
How does? Okay, what?
Yeah, and we'll give you lots of exposure. No, we're not gonna pay you. We'll just give you exposure.
Oh man, so many stories about that. Like, hey, how long will it take to get this done? About a week. Okay, but what if I asked you to do it in 2 days? It's gonna take a week. But what if you did it in 2 weeks? I guess 2 days. All right, make it a day.
2 days it is. Make it a
All right,
day.
1.5 hour.
Yeah. This isn't really a negotiation. It's just how long it takes. So
let's roll this back to before you had any exposure and tell us how this whole adventure for you got started.
Okay. How far back do you want me to go?
Well, let's say, did you go to school for this, or is this?
We'll go back to that, which actually coincides with how Wendy and I met, and we became the married makers.
Nice.
So, 2005. That's when I started college at Humber College in Etobicoke, and I actually met Wendy there. We were in the 3D animation program, and we became friends. We were like very close friends for 3 years, and we graduated from 3D animation, and then we did a post-grad for a year in gaming animation, and then we started dating after that, and then for 10 years we worked in the animation industry in Toronto. So we did freelance, we worked on commercials, TV shows, movies, some small games here and there. And then we slowly started to get into cosplay. She cosplayed since she was like 16, 15 years old because she was a big like weeb. Super into anime, super into all that stuff. And
you less so? Like you were not a cosplay?
Oh, no, cosplay, no. I still liked dressing up and everything, but I'm like, I don't cosplay. I just dress up for Halloween. But then I think about how much detail I put into my Halloween costumes. Like, yeah, it was cosplay.
You were a cosplayer. It's okay. A Halloween cosplayer. I'm just picturing
your top 3 Halloween costumes. Let's hear it.
Okay.
From any time.
1 year, I was Rufio. Fucking
love Rufio.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Full mohawk with red dye and stuff
no
like that.
No Peter Pan movie will ever beat Hook. Ever.
So I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I got some like a red boa at Value Village, and I just clipped it into my hair.
That's sick. I love that.
That was around the time where I didn't know to use foam. EVA foam. I didn't know about 3D printing. I didn't know about any of that stuff. I just went to Value Village, bought whatever I could, bought stuff at Michael's, and then did stuff like that.
That's where every Halloween costume starts. Value Village, the dollar store.
Yeah. Another one would be Wendy and I did the 1960s Batman and Robin.
Oh,
so I was
amazing!
Batman. I was Adam West Batman, and she was Robin.
We had
very nice.
From the movie or from the show?
Specifically the movie, because we both had cans of hairspray and we put shark repellent on it.
Yes.
And we had
that shark scene with the helicopter.
Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
It's so ridiculous.
Ducks and the nuns. And so good.
Anybody who is listening who hasn't seen that movie, my God, it's amazing. And were they purposefully being sarcastic and ironic, or was it just the time, right?
No, it was. If you watch, there's a movie called Return to the Batcave.
Okay.
And it came out like 10 years ago or something like that. And it's Adam West and Burt Ward, and they reflect on them making the show, and they have younger actors play them. And it's like kind of like a biopic mixed with a cheesy Batman story. And they talk about it, and Adam West actually insisted on it being as corny as possible.
Amazing.
And he's like, "Yep, nope, make it cheesier, make it cheesier."
One of my
we had cardboard cutouts that said Bamf and stuff, and we would like swing them around and say Bamf and Pow.
One of my so I love puns, and one of my favorite from the show puns that Robin would do, like they would split the shows up into 2 episodes, so they'd always say, like, get Batman and Robin would get in a predicament, and they'd say same bat time, same bat channel, right? And then they would go, and the next episode would be like the resolution. And so my favorite one that I ever heard was Robin goes, "Holy strawberries, Batman! How are we gonna get out of this jam?"
Yes.
And another one, which was a really good one, was "Holy Kleenex, Batman! It was right under our nose the whole time, and we blew it."
Yes, and we blew it. It's so good.
So 1960s Batman, and it was Batwoman. Who was Wendy?
Oh, Wendy was Robin.
Robin. Okay, that is amazing. Yeah, we're gonna have to get some picture evidence of this.
I'll send that.
I want to see photographic evidence. Of this.
I'll send that to you guys. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, we did a few cool costumes like that before we really got into cosplay.
How did who broke it to who?
Wendy did.
Wendy did. How long did you guys know each other before she was like, I have this part of my life. I love to cosplay.
Oh, that's what you mean. Okay. I didn't really know she cosplayed that much until after we were married.
She really hit it on you.
An old photo album. Like, look at all.
You're stuck now, buddy.
What the hell? What did I marry? No, it was like I knew she went to like anime conventions when she was younger. So she's from Collingwood. I guess for people who don't know, Collingwood is a very small city, very north of Toronto, very small town, and so there's not a lot of more. It's fine now, but when she was growing up in the 90s, there wasn't a lot of culture, I guess, up there. There was like one Japanese restaurant, and it closed down within a year. So like her and her friends liking anime and manga and stuff like that, there was just nothing to do. So they saved up every year, and they would go to these anime conventions and spend hundreds of dollars on everything, and they'd have stacks and stacks of manga and stuff. And then I found out she actually dressed up for some of those from Final Fantasy characters, and like I don't know what other characters. Some of them were like some obscure animes that I don't know. I was more the cookie cutter Dragon Ball kind of kid, you know.
Also awesome.
Dragon Ball. Yeah.
Yeah.
But after we were married, she was like, we should go to some of these cons in costume, and I was like, maybe. She's like, why? You go out for Halloween. We take the subway in costume. And I'm like, yeah,
I love the
Halloween.
trepidation.
And she's like, just trust me. I'm like, all right. So
I feel like before you go on, I feel like it's a very safe place, right? Like Halloween 100%. Is like accepted, everyone's in costume, but the cons are also a very costume friendly, safe place.
Honestly, starting to cosplay and like getting into it actually helped me open up. Like I was always a big nerd growing up, huge. Like I don't want to sound like a hipster, but before geek was chic, you know what I mean? Like I was that kid in the 90s reading X-Men comics and you know all that kind of stuff, and there's like not that many people doing that because it was not cool. So that kind of made me hesitant, but I'm like, there's so many people there, but like I don't know why I didn't do it sooner. It's fantastic. The community is amazing. People are so supportive, and we got so much positive feedback, even though like our costumes weren't that great. But it was
selling yourself short, I'm gonna guess.
On that one. For sure.
But these are old costumes. These are older costumes.
Okay.
This is before you were professionals. Still in your amateur days.
Semi-professional amateur.
Yeah. So still better than 99% of the population, but just not professional.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you're at the con, so the costume game, I would assume, is very high. At a lot of cons.
Honestly, so I've been to with like FanFit Gaming we've had a couple of booths at some of these cons, and actually, Aaron, that's how I met you and Wendy. I think was at one of the. I can't remember which one, but one of them. And my experience with cosplayers, I'm usually behind the booth, or if I'm like grabbing a bite to eat or something, I'll walk around. But my experience with cosplayers has always been like, that is amazing. Come over here. Tell me about how you made this. Tell me about why you're doing it. And just and my favorite thing though is watching other people on a mission to go like to the bathroom, to get something to eat, to buy some like really funky merch, and just stop in their tracks, do a 180, and like a fully grown human is just gushing. They're like, "Oh my god, I love what you're doing."
Yeah.
It's so much. And then like also the kids' reactions, right? When there's like a Darth Vader or like a Superman or a Wolverine walking around, and the kids love it. Oh, and then when the kids are dressed up too, like, and then we see the parents, we see the parents with the kids. It's just, man, it is something where, as an outsider, you can like easily just stick your nose up and make fun of it. But Aaron, I love what you said, which like it helped you opened up. Why didn't you do it sooner?
Sure.
Pat, what you said,
I don't know why.
Yeah, Pat, what you said.
I think it's a lifetime of being like of just people like being the nerd, and not being cool and everything. And also working in the animation industry and meeting all my friends and starting to date Wendy. That was like, oh God, we've been together for 13 years now. So it really helped me get a lot more comfortable. And again, working in animation, being surrounded by like-minded people with the same type of likes and all that kind of stuff really, really helped. But I was still nervous in a lot of ways about some of that stuff. But cosplaying and getting that positive feedback, and I remember one year we dressed up as Borderland characters, and that was the year we decided we were psychos, and I think it was like 4 or 5 years ago. And 5 years ago, and that was the year we decided to make an Instagram thing. We're like, we should do something with this because people loved it. And we ran into some people that I still talk to now on Instagram, and I consider them friends. And they're like, we're doing a photo shoot for Borderlands at the Steam Whistle Brewery. So this is at Fan Expo, I believe. And they're like, do you want to join us? And I was like, oh, okay, sure. And we were like front and center, and people loved our psychos, and it was fantastic. We got so much positive feedback, and after that, going into a con and cosplay, I'm just like,
he's got the Spider-Man 3 strut.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Oh, Spider-Man 3 strut.
How did you do the? How did you do the costumes? Did you do shading, like to mimic the sort of shading?
That was actually the first year we took the costumes seriously, and it was more so again Wendy, and she bought a molding and casting kit. And she sculpted it out of Sculpey, the Psycho mask.
For your mask,
and she casted it, and then we painted it, we shaded it and everything.
Did you do shading on your skin too?
We did, yeah. We got some body paint, and we looked up how to seal it with like alcohol and everything, so you wouldn't sweat it out.
Cool, very cool.
We once again went to Value Village and found some big baggy pants to paint, like orange cargo pants or whatever to paint. And when we couldn't find orange ones in our size, we just got khakis and painted those orange and then painted it on top of it. And it was amazing. But it was such a great experience. And actually, if you look at our Instagram page, that's the very, very first post that we ever made on our Instagram page. And it was a kind of a throwback to I think the year or two beforehand, when we like, this is something I can see myself doing for a long time. And then that got the ball rolling.
That's one of those moments where it sparked everything from there.
Yeah. And I told my friends, and my parents were like, oh, so we saw you posted some pictures and you're in a costume. And I'm like, yeah, it's cosplay. And I kind of came a little late in the game because we started like when I was like 27 or 28 or something like that. And but it's
never too late.
Never too late. Yeah. Although I do feel like an old man in a young man's game sometimes.
Man.
Even though I'm not old, it's just sometimes we've had people call us.
I have found the photo.
When you get super old, you can still cosplay like Deckard Cain. There's a lot of like oldie characters in so anime and gaming, and those would be awesome, right? My favorite thing,
you guys killed it. The shading on the clothing is incredible.
And for anybody who's listening and wants to check it out, it's at Married Makers, right? Is that your Insta tag? Married Makers.
At Married Makers. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. All one word. Yeah.
All one word.
Scroll down.
So you
we'll throw up a picture of that on the YouTube.
Yeah. So you met in school. You were doing some cosplay, and then you were working in the like animation industry within Toronto mainly. But then eventually, was it you or Wendy made your way out to work for a Hollywood studio? You mentioned it earlier, Henchman Studios.
Henchman Studios. Yeah, they're actually local in Toronto, but they've worked for so many different like big titles like Blizzard and EA and
Toronto's a big film industry spot. Like it's.
Oh yeah, well,
it's a big
Toronto,
deal
Vancouver,
there.
Montreal are the three biggest cities in Canada. But yeah, so I'm the one that left the industry. It was bittersweet. After 10 years of working in animation, and like I've made lifelong friends that I still talk to this day. Like some of the closest friends I had, and I love all the people to death. But there's so many things about animation that was just wearing on me, and getting more and more positive feedback from the married makers, getting people saying, "Oh wow, you should totally sell this. You should do this for a living. You should do tutorials. You should stream. You should do that." And we were getting so much feedback. I'm like, you know what? And I like one day Wendy and I had like a long talk, and we were coming. It was like a long drive coming back from like the airport or something like that from a con, and we just had a serious talk saying like, we should do this. We should try it out. You know, like F it. We're still relatively young. We can still do this. Let's just try it. And you know, we have enough of a foothold and a friend base in the animation industry. We have a fallback. But then I was like, having a fallback kind of restricts you, because if you know you have a safety net, you don't put yourself 100% into it.
Mm-hmm.
At least in my opinion, for some people.
I believe that too.
I feel like that's something Rob has told me in the past as well.
I share that 100%.
And some of our friends in the animation industry, a couple friends in particular, we go to cons with them a lot. They're like, dude, just do it. Do it. He's like, I've been in animation for like 20 years. It sucks. Do it. Just do it, man. You guys can do it. I'm like, sure. Okay. So we actually started doing the Married Makers as a side business. And so we'd work, 40 hours a week. Sometimes we worked at the same studio. So we'd wake up, we'd go to work, take the train downtown, work for 8 hours together, take the train home, then work in the shop together, go to bed. So we'd literally see each other all the time. And if that's not a test of marriage, I don't know what is. Well, I guess COVID's a good test of marriage.
All those people.
We started getting more and more recognition, and then one day I remember distinctly I was in the shower and I almost fell out and like cracked my head open because Wendy's like, holy shit, guess what? And I was like, oh my god, what? And I thought someone was like breaking into the house or the dog fell down the stairs, I don't know. And she's like, Henchman Studios added us, and they reached out, and I was like, oh wow, that's awesome. So I immediately stopped showering. We started talking about it, and they said, hey, we want to know if you guys want to collaborate on a project, or you want to come on to help work on a project. And we're like, oh yeah, sure. And we met with Jordan Duncan, the founder of Henchman. Nicest guy you'll ever meet. He's a fantastic guy. We interviewed with him, we talked with him, and he's like, okay, we're working on some of these projects, and we'd love for you guys to come on and help out. And at the time, I was like, okay, this is an amazing opportunity, but I feel like we both decided that one of us should stay in animation just for the more constant stream of income, security. Yeah, exactly, security. And being very, very new in this industry, I wasn't going to pull the money I was making in animation, Yeah. And I didn't expect that either. Like I'm like, okay, well, when it comes to working in cosplay and props professionally, I thought I still think I am pretty amateur in a lot of ways. So we decided that I would be the one to go. So I started, I think within 3 weeks I started, and it was the hardest thing I had to do because I had to leave so many friends in the industry.
Yeah.
And
people that you see every day.
Exactly. And I've worked at good studios. I've worked at terrible studios. And I'm sure if you talk to other people in animation, you'll hear some horror stories about working in animation. But also, the community there is fantastic. Like, I love so many people there. They're absolutely amazing, and it was so hard leaving this one studio in particular. It's called Industrial Brothers. They is probably one of the best studios I've ever worked at in my entire career. And one of my closest friends, one of my very, very good friends, works there too. So we would just goof off all day and work. But it was very hard leaving that studio and him. But I talked to him about it. He's like, dude, just go for it. Do it. So I left and I started at Henchman, and I haven't worked in animation since. That was about just over 2 years ago. And I was at Henchman for about a year and a half. I did.
So how soon into that did it feel like I have made the right decision? Because I know at the beginning it's going to be scary and unknown, but
I'd say within the first month or so.
Yeah.
Actually, funny story. My first day of working, I don't know if you've seen Henchman Studios' Anthem project they did a couple years back. The big Anthem statues. I met Neil Blomkamp. Blomkamp? Yeah, the director who did like Elysium and those other movies in the Anthem short. I was like, it was my first day, and they're like, hey, look, there's Neil. I'm like, holy shit.
Were you did you have to go to LA when you worked for them, or?
No, it was all in the Toronto studio, so
Okay.
they flew there, and but I was there the last like few days of the build, and it was like we worked a lot.
What
but it
was like your
These
role,
Anthem
like?
costumes are incredible.
Oh, you're looking it up right now?
Yeah.
they're great.
I wish Anthem had so much potential. I wish it just did better, but like,
Yeah.
It's terrible.
yeah, it was so bad, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know. Everything else was so good, but the game.
Yeah,
But
rip Anthem.
So those
Rip.
first few days, yeah, hashtag rip Anthem. Those first few days, I was just getting my bearings. There was like 40 people working, running around trying to get all this stuff done because there was just so much to do. I was just like, they're just like, okay, go help paint this stuff. I'm like, okay, help put the rust effects on this stuff. Help put like torn cloth and effects on this stuff. And basically, for the
Already
first few
sounds so
days,
cool.
I was just jumping around. I was wherever because I didn't know what to do. I didn't have a defined role yet because
Right.
it was so hectic, and I was just thrown into the fire. So I'm like, tell me what you need me to do, and I'll do it. And so I helped. Like with the assembly of the big red armor piece, I don't know the
Yeah,
name of
I
it.
see that one.
Like we're hooking them up to like
Real
a metal
big.
frame. Oh, it was like 8 feet, 10 feet tall, I think, or
Yeah.
more. There's like a
Damn,
big
boy.
steel frame that Jordan or someone had welded up, and we were trying to fit the armor pieces over the steel frame. So we're trying to figure that out. And I was just like, okay, I'll just be the holder for now. I'll hold it up while you figure it out, because I didn't want to step on toes. I didn't want to do anything like that. And then within the next couple weeks or the next week or so, we moved from Toronto to Etobicoke and to a much bigger studio, much bigger place. So then we were doing work while moving and packing up like endless amounts of tools and supplies and then unpacking it, organizing it. So when that started, I actually was in charge of building workbenches, and then they had wall dividers. So my friend and I had to put up the walls and the ceiling for like storage and stairs and all this other stuff so the studio could actually be used as a studio. So, and then after that, we started working on some Blizzard stuff, and that's when I was like,
Oh yeah.
okay, oh yeah.
You're like, here we go.
I remember Jordan was like, he's like, okay, so for BlizzCon, we have World of Warcraft stuff. We had Heroes of the Storm, rip Heroes of the Storm, and we have
That's like
Overwatch
Pat's
stuff.
game, by the way. Here's his
Still play it like every day.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you play Orphea?
Sure.
Yeah. Oh well, I made like me and another guy. They're like, you're doing Orphea. You're gonna be doing her
The coffin?
the coffin talisman thing. So if you look at their
Yeah,
cosplay,
yeah.
like, so me and someone else, the two of us were in charge of building that, and they're like, by the way, you have to make it
Sick.
under 15 pounds. I'm like, what? and then we were
Someone's
just
gonna wear
thrown
it,
into
right?
it.
Yeah.
We're just thrown into it. So that's when I was
Did
like,
you have
"Alright, cool."
any of the? So there's like a sort of like a monster guy in it.
Oh, her father or whatever that is.
It's like
It looks like Venom,
yeah.
right? The ghosty thing.
Mhm.
No, he didn't. But the
Okay.
lights, her eyes, or the eyes on the back of the reliquary or relic thing, they flickered
Yeah.
on and off. And
So,
That's cool.
there's
so
LED.
I just have a couple of questions. Okay, I'm Blizzard. Why am I paying you or your studio? What do I get out of it? Where does the budget come from? Like, why would any company pay for you to make a giant statue of a video game character? Like, what's the point?
By the way, thanks for jumping in, Rob, because I'm just sitting here with big anime eyes going, hey, worked on a Heroes of the Storm thing? Oh my god. So cool.
So when it comes to like the business end of stuff, I didn't really talk to clients and do that.
Okay.
I was more of like just behind the scenes builder, but from what I learned and gathered, they have like it's just like with movies and TV shows, you have a certain budget for, from what I gathered, you have a certain budget for promotional stuff and advertising and this and that. I guess live advertising, because it's all for BlizzCon, right?
Mhm.
And it generates buzz, it generates people, like people would say like, I want to go to see these costumes, or like a lot of people have what I've talked to at BlizzCon, they're like, one of the biggest reasons they go is to go see the new heroes launched, but also to see the costumes, because they know there's going to be a cosplay for that new character.
Yeah, and then I guess it also
So
like
true.
generates social media buzz. Like they take pictures with them
yeah.
next to the cosplay, and they're tagging, and there's a
With
huge
the voice
hype around it.
actors. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that makes sense. It's really it must come from like a marketing budget, and then
Oh, for sure.
they're hiring actors and they're hiring studios to come and like represent the characters as it's part of like experiential marketing, really, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And you have like a company like, Blizzard or EA or whatever. They like, it's not like they're wanting for money, right? They're like, okay, what's better, a cardboard cutout? Post it around here or there, like a couple cardboard cutouts. Like that year we made Ashe for Overwatch when she was first launched, and like some cardboard cutouts of Ashe or something you could take a photo with, or actual Ashe that can pose with you, hold up a gun, pretend to shoot you, do whatever, say the Bob line, like Bob do something kind of thing. Like that's so much.
Nice.
It's like just interactive, and it's like the way people react is amazing. And when we went to BlizzCon, I was like, whatever costume you'd work on, that's usually who you'd stick with that model. Like, so since I worked on Orphea, I was her handler, or one of her handlers. So if the prop broke or something happened, then I would
okay,
help
that
fix
makes
it.
sense.
Are you sitting? Do you have like a backpack full of like glue
Duct
guns
tape and
yeah?
I did not have
Spray
a
paint.
backpack, sir. I had a leg pouch. Way cooler. Look like a gun holster, right? You're like, I got this. And you reach in, quick draw some super glue, and you're like, I got it. Like. But yeah, so you just do crowd control, see how she's doing. Even though like the thing was like 12 pounds, it wasn't that heavy. She was only like 5. The model. She's 5
Well,
foot
Orphea is
tall.
supposed to be like 12, so they have the model would have to be very small.
Yeah, she was. I think she was like 5 foot flat, or maybe even shorter, but she was a trooper. Because we also had to make like a hard, solid shell fiberglass frame that went under her costume to support that, the big piece. And
Right.
Did you like, was she already chosen as the model and you guys had to build it around her, or did you build it and then they found the model and you had to adapt it to her? Like how did
so
that
what
go?
henchmen did was they would find they would go online. The producer and one of the heads of the studio, Jill, she would go online like on Instagram and see like because she's huge in the cosplay world. She'd search out models and ask around for people who she thinks would fit the bill, and find like 5 or 6 people and find some of their reference, make like a little profile on each person and send it off to Blizzard. And then they would look through all the pictures and look at their accounts and social media and say, oh, we like her, or we like him, we like that person, we like them,
Cool.
And then from then the model would come in, the fabric and sewing department, they would take all their measurements, and then we would have the measurements for the props and everything like that. Sometimes we have to take casts of their body because we have to make like a
Crazy.
shell. There's so many things they had to do.
It reminds me
That's
of
so cool.
have you guys ever seen Fifth Element when
Of course.
Zorg?
Like 100 times.
Okay, Zorg. Here, fun fact about that movie. One of the only movies where the protagonist, Bruce Willis, never shares screen time with the antagonist, Zorg. Never.
It's genius.
It's so good. And you never realize it. Like, I found that out years after it. So anyway, it reminds me of like the Fifth Element when Zorg's like describing destruction and chaos, and he like knocks a glass off the desk and all the little robots come out. Like somebody at Blizzard somewhere went, we should do some cosplay for Blizzard. And then like all of the little moving pieces come together. The like, you know, the framer, the seamstress, the like casting director, the producer over here, the like, oh man, so many moving parts.
Yeah.
So many. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot.
The concept art first and then
And each department within Blizzard, so like World of Warcraft, Here's the Storm, Diablo, Overwatch, they're all basically separate like sub companies within Blizzard. So they don't even talk to each other. So like some of my coworkers who worked on the Overwatch stuff, they were in a different hotel that Blizzard put them up in than like Heroes of the Storm people or other people because they're just separate entities, but they're within them. It's like
by the way, BlizzCon line.
Yeah, it's coming up.
It's what? It's the 18th?
Next week, I think.
It's the 18th? Are you excited for it? I mean, I'm jealous that you were able to go to BlizzCon. That is unreal.
That's on my bucket list for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
It's unreal, man. And the fact that the only couple times I've been to BlizzCon, I got to go behind the scenes and like I had like the multipass, you know, multipass.
Little multipass.
Yeah.
Please help.
Please help.
Like I quote this movie regularly, like weekly. Okay.
Come on, my man.
I got no fire. This comes up a lot in video games, like when you don't have mana or something. You're like, I got no fire.
I quit smoking. I don't have any matches.
How about this? I have literally, like at the cottage, been building a fence with my dad for my nephew so he doesn't kill himself jumping off the cliff. And a cloud, like a really dark cloud, came in over the sun, and I immediately
right. Yes, I do it all the time.
Just without even thinking.
I do it all the time to Alana. She has no idea. She still hasn't seen it.
Oh man, my bucket list cosplays is to be the oh my god, I'm brain farting.
Are you these guys?
The Mogadorians?
With the key finger.
They're so weird looking.
They're so big. How would you do it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the thing. That's one of my favorite things about cosplay. And this relates to, I think, me in working in animation, is the mechanics and the engineering behind it. So that was always my thing. Like, I love seeing something and be like, I think I could make that. I think I know how it works, and I'll just do it. I'll try it. I might fail horribly, or, you know, it kind of works, or, you know, it works out. So that's always how I like to approach things, and looking at that is like the ultimate challenge. Like, you have to have moving arms, you have to be able to see. So I'm picturing some sort of like periscope, or like Adam Savage's Totoro, where he has a GoPro and a screen. I got to figure out cooling because I don't overheat and die in there. You know, maybe a sound box. I want a little finger with the key comes out. You know.
Yes, that's very important.
So that's. Yeah. So that's your dream cosplay, is one of those guys?
It's one of them. Yeah. It's one of my dream cosplays.
Cool.
Guys,
I've been talking to Wendy about it for years.
You wouldn't be able to fit through any of the doorways or anything.
I'm gonna take a bath. I'm gonna take a bathroom break. But Patty, you keep going. I'm so curious to hear more. Oh God, I don't want to. I really wish I didn't have to leave.
Do you run into these problems sometimes where you make a costume, cosplay, something like that, and then after it's built, we realize, wait a minute, we can't get this through the stage door or something like that. Is that ever a thing?
Yes. Oh yes. Because you know, there's game physics and there's real life physics. Yeah. Like the so I'm gonna try to stick more to Married Maker stuff as much as I loved Henchmen. I want to stick to Married Maker stuff for now. Yeah. So actually I have it right here. My Crusader build I did. Wendy and I did the Diablo 3 builds.
Nice.
I was the Crusader and she was the Demon Hunter, Marauder. If you look at the pictures, my pauldrons, like they're just, I think they stuck out about 1.5 feet, or about 20 inches, so more than 1.5 feet on either side of my shoulders.
Okay.
And like
it's huge.
I'm not a very wide guy. I'm not a very big guy, but with these things, it was like 4 people or 3 people walking beside each other. So whenever I was walking, I had to make sure I had.
Are these the ones with the big red flaming
that's
pauldrons?
Wendy.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's she's the one with.
Oh, I see yours. Yo, those are huge.
Yeah, they're massive, right? And they're giant skulls.
Really nice.
and each one was about 7 or 8 pounds, and they're floating on aluminum bars. But yeah, so I was like, I love Diablo. All of Diablo.
Yeah.
I've played it since it first came out. In hindsight, I should have been playing Diablo when it first came out because I was like 9. But
Yeah.
uh, I was like, I love this armor build. I have to build it. So I modeled it all
must be
out.
a
And I
really
started
cool
printing it.
feeling.
Oh yeah, but that you're absolutely right in that. Like when I figured out the engineering behind wearing the shoulder pads. Like okay, I have to put them on these aluminum bars that had to be bent precisely to fit the 3D print, and then well, how are they going to stay on my shoulders? So I made like a full, from like neck down to my waist or hips was a full body front and back 2 fiberglass
Like a
plates.
harness thing? Oh,
Yeah, like a
shit, okay.
harness, and then
Yeah.
the aluminum bars were bolted onto the harness, and
So cool.
I couldn't put that on myself, so I had like 2 people helping me put it on, and
Yeah.
then I was about to leave my hotel room, and this is at Dragon Con in Atlanta, and Dragon Con is just like the biggest cosplay party convention ever. It's fantastic. I was so sad we had to miss Dragon Con this past year. But I was about to go to the door, and my friend's like, "Shit, dude, how are you gonna get out?" I'm like, "Oh god!" So I had to like crab walk, but because of the way because of the way my costume was, I had like these side skirt pieces. I couldn't really spread my legs out that far, so I had to like crab shuffle, and then yeah, I had to take the stairs, and I was going down like 8 flights of stairs,
Oh
and it was
my
just
god.
like one step at a time, like you know, and it was
so good.
yeah. But the first reaction you get from the first person, you just hear like, "Oh fuck, dude, what the hell?" And then you just get swarmed, and then people just that reaction is just like, "Oh, it's totally worth it." I'm sweating buckets after 2 minutes. You know, I'm dehydrated, whatever, but I'm like, "Oh, this is fantastic." It's such a great feeling. The best is the double.
Looking at this picture, it's incredible. You did an amazing job.
Thanks, man. It's probably my most favorite the best thing I think I've worked on in terms of like my most favorite project, because it posed the most challenges, and I got to explore new things like magnets and stuff like that. And
so does this thing still exist somewhere? Is it like on an armor stand in your garage or something?
I had it on a stand at my old house, but we moved, and I want to get like big mannequins and put them all on display that you'd see a lot of other much bigger cosplayers do, but we no longer have access to a room because that is now a baby room. So I'm like, oh well, there goes that room. So they're kind of in storage, but they're tucked away. They're still ready to go. We meticulously pack them all away. When we build our costumes, we make sure it's easy to assemble, disassemble, because those 2 Diablo costumes took up 2 giant, like 5-foot long totes, and we had to drive those down to Atlanta. So we had to make sure they're modular to an extent.
Right.
I feel like one of the hardest things about what you do, because really you're capable of doing so much, must just be that anytime there's a new show, a new movie, or a new anime.
Don't start. Don't start, man. You have no idea.
So like... Yeah, tell us about some of the ones that you've seen, and like how often has that happened? Has it happened weekly? And like what are some of the coolest things you've seen lately that just get you going?
Oh man. Okay. So I have, first of all, like in our shop right now, we have so many half-finished projects. and I'm like, when it comes to new cool things, I'm like a hummingbird. I'm just like, holy shit, that's so cool, let's do that. Whoa, look at that, and you're just like, and I just kind of go side to side, and then like having so many friends in animation, I'll see some friends on Facebook post like, hey guys, we just wrapped up this project, check it out on Netflix, and someone's like, oh wow, this is cool, so I check it out, I'm like, oh, I want to build that prop, and then I'm feeling nostalgic, so I'll watch Last Airbender, and then I'm like, you know what, I want to build Sokka. He's my boy Sokka. And like,
you kind of look like Sokka, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. When COVID started, I was like, hey, we're missing Toronto Comic Con, but maybe by the time the next con's available, my hair will be long.
Dude,
and my hair is so long now.
You could cosplay Sokka, no problem, for sure.
He's my boy, and I have to. So I think you can see some of the posts on Instagram, like the last few posts, or at least the one we did of the wolf helmet. So we wanted to do Sokka, but I wanted to do like a realistic version of Sokka. So if there was an actual water tribe, cool. Because as far as I know, there was no live action Last Airbender, right?
Yeah, it didn't exist. No, and if
never happened.
Yeah, exactly. So, we don't talk about
we
that.
tried to imagine how it would look if it was real, and that wolf helmet you see is all Wendy. She is a modeling god. She is fantastic.
So that's Wendy's expertise, is the 3D modeling, and your expertise is like the putting it together.
Well, I do modeling as well, not to undercut myself, but she is on a whole other level. Cool. Like when we used to work in animation, this one studio called Awesome Town, she was actually the head of the character modeling department. So she had people working underneath her. She was in charge of hiring new people on.
Cool.
So because she does more organic sculpting in ZBrush, so like faces, monsters, creatures, anything organic and stuff like that. I prefer and I excel more in inorganic stuff, mechanical stuff, which kind of goes more towards me being like a builder in terms of engineering stuff. So like I would do more props, guns. I can still do organic stuff, like for example the skull. Like I modeled the skull and stuff like that, but it just takes me about 3 times as long as Wendy. She could whip it out in like an afternoon in ZBrush and sculpt it super fast. I don't know that program, so I have to do it the hard way, using poly modeling instead of sculpting. And while I can do it, not as good and not as fast as her. So that's definitely her expertise, but it works. We kind of complement each other in that way.
Yeah, it sounds like you guys' skill sets really complement each other well.
Yeah, and actually in animation we complemented each other like that too, because she was a modeler and I was a character modeler and I was a character rigger. That's like the engineering in animation. So like here's the character model. You see characters like in a T pose, right? Or like an A pose.
Yeah.
So my job is to put like a skeleton in that character so they can move.
Cool.
So they're like, hey, this guy has a tail. He has to hang from his tail and has to stretch out very long, like X feet out. Well, how close do you get to the tail? We have to do a close-up of this part of the tail. Okay, so I have to put this many controls in, figure out how to stretch it without stretching the textures too much. Are you using fur? Okay, so we have to figure out how to do that. You know,
cool.
So
are you putting in hinge points and movement points and stuff like that?
Yeah, so we build all that. Maybe I'll send you guys a link to one of my old rigging demo reels.
Sure.
Yeah.
From like 7 years ago or something.
Definitely do that.
I just feel like so one of the things I was really interested to talk to you about was like, before meeting you, I had no idea that this was like a thing that you could get paid to do, right? Like I just didn't realize. Yeah, cosplay, prop building, 3D modeling and animation. Like I just didn't get it. It was a big question mark for me, and so
I didn't get what a way to put it. I love that.
It just popped out of a hole.
Yeah, it's like that exists somewhere, I guess, but I didn't get it. But yeah, I was excited to talk to you, like, because I think a lot of people, a lot of kids, when especially nowadays, when they're like playing video games, they know that they want to do something in the gaming industry, and like a lot of colleges, universities, it reflects that because they're including things like 3D modeling in their curriculum, and they're including it in like degrees and everything. So do you have any, from your experiences, like tips that you would give your former self on like, hey, I don't know what I want to do in the gaming industry, in the pop culture, TV, movie industry, but you know, this is something I might want to consider. Like, what would you say to yourself 10 years ago?
Oh, wow. 10 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. First, I would probably slap myself in the face 10 years ago. I was
forehand or backhand, though? Because, you know, backhand is discipline.
Yeah, backhand. Yeah.
Okay.
I was
you like discipline.
Younger, yeah. I don't know. I was just kind of like young and dumb and full of myself. You know how you are when you're young. You're like, I work in the city, and I, you know, blah blah blah. What do I say to myself?
That same strut.
Yeah. You know the meme I'm talking about, the Vince McMahon meme, where he's like,
yeah. With the oversized suit. Or
So
maybe
good.
another way to put it is like, what would you say to somebody who's interested in the video game industry and considering this as a career path? Like, what
In
piece
terms
of
of
advice?
working on actual games or working like cosplay stuff?
You tell me.
Anything. Okay.
Yep.
Well, for animation, I will say when I was getting into animation, and I even got this from family, uh, no one thought it was like you said, it was a big question mark. No one thought you could make a career out of it. But then I'm like, well, how did these movies show up? People have to make
Somebody's doing
movies.
it. Yeah.
Someone's doing it, yes. But one thing I will say for both people wanting to get into gaming cosplay or 3D printing or gaming animation industry, never work for free, never work for exposure bucks, never let anyone ever tell you like, okay, so we'll do this, but it's a little expensive. How about we just do this and next time around we'll pay you or we'll give you these exposure bucks and blah blah. No, never do that. As an artist, and I have been a starving artist for a while, years ago when I first started in animation, you don't let people walk all over you like that. You obviously have a skill, you have a talent. Don't let people take it for granted. Just because you can do it easily doesn't mean you should do it cheaply. Because people have always told me like, oh, well, you're so good at it. It'll take you like a day to do this. Meanwhile, it'll take us like weeks. Okay, well, I worked hard to do that. I worked my ass off to do that. I went to college for that. You don't have to go to college. I think it's kind of overrated now. But,
Yeah, the way
I did work my ass off.
Like, the way
So-
I've heard it put is like, yeah, it'll take me an hour to do, but it took me 10 years to learn how to do it in an hour.
Exactly. You nailed it on the head because that's exactly what it is. Like I did 3 years of college in animation. One of those years I was working nonstop, like for days on end. Like Wendy and I would rent out the computer lab when we were working on our demo reels, and we're like, our demo reels are gonna get us jobs, and they have to be perfect. We'd rent out the computer lab and we'd have 20 computers running and rendering stuff and working for like literally 2 days straight. We'd have a cooler full of Taco Bell and beer, and we would camp out.
Sounds amazing.
That's
and
how we fell in
hopefully
love.
a bunch of toilet paper.
20 computers at your disposal with a cooler of Taco Bell sounds like a dream.
It is a dream, and I got a funny story about Taco Bell too, actually, but maybe in a bit. But yeah, I would say don't let people walk all over you. Even in the cosplay industry, people have asked like I've had people say, how much for this custom helmet? I'll say, well, it's custom, so that means we have to model it from scratch. We have to print it, and there's print time and materials. We have to sand it, finish it, paint it, seal it, whatever. If there's any parts that need to be engineered or attached, we have to do all that. And we'd still give them a lowball price for our time. Like we'd say like $400, $500, and they'd say, "Oh, I was expecting 50."
Yeah, that's crazy.
What?
Those people are out of touch
I was
with
like,
reality.
even if I paid
Even
myself,
buy the materials for 50.
no, and I was like, yeah, like if I paid myself $2 an hour, that wouldn't even reach $500 or something, or $50 or whatever. Like it's not 500, but like $50. Like it's just the time that goes into it. Because if we were charging you what we charged for modeling and animation for our freelance costs, or what we charge as an animation artist for modeling, there's no way you could afford us.
But bro,
This is not me bragging.
I've got 15,000 Instagram followers, and I'll give you so much exposure.
Oh,
Bucks,
yeah.
exposure bucks. Yeah, so like, and I'm not trying to brag and say we're worth so much money, but any artist in the animation industry has experienced this, and not just animation, graphic design, any kind of creative field, fashion, sewing, painting, drawing, whatever, music. Everyone they always undercut themselves, and they say, okay, well, I'll give it to you for this, and then people are like, well, no, I want it for this, and then you have the audacity to say, well, I have to eat and pay my mortgage, and I have pets to take care of, I have bills to pay, and they're like, whoa, 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 how dare you? And they just get huffy, and it drove me nuts. But I honestly, I got taken advantage of quite a few times when I was starting off in animation. Like people said, hey, for your interview for this studio,
Yeah,
read
that's
this
crazy.
character.
That is crazy.
And then I'm like, oh, okay. Sure. And like my big old doe eyes, I would go home and work on it for a week, and I'd send it to them. Oh, we decided to go in another direction, and then I find out they used it in production, and I'm like,
that is super
Yeah.
shady when it's a business doing it. It's so predatory.
Yeah.
Oh God, that puts such a bad taste in my mouth.
that studio got shut down for
Good.
one of those very reasons.
Good. Fuck
Yeah,
that. Fuck
but,
that studio. Fuck anybody like them. I have no.
exactly.
I don't suffer that shit. That's bullshit. Fuck that.
It was terrible. But around that time, I was young. I had to do freelance to get my name. But then once you get out there and your work speaks for itself.
Yeah.
And then you just start. It's word of mouth, and then
Mm.
it got to a point where both Wendy and I would be like, "Hey, anyone hiring a rigger or a modeler?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, we're hiring over here." I'm like, "Okay." You do your walk and then you walk.
That's awesome.
Love the strut.
Yeah, but again, you're always worth the time and effort you put into it, and never undercut yourself. I would tell that to me. I would tell that to anybody. And don't let people devalue your work, because that devalues you, and it's not worth it. Because it just puts so much stress and pressure on you, and it's not worth it. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
The strut again.
So
well, let's bring it back to today and tell us like what does a typical day look like for the married makers these days? Is there even such a thing as a typical day?
Well, nowadays things are a little slower. Obviously, all the our bread and butter was conventions, because we get like advertising, because we'd walk around in costumes. We had booths. We would sell merch. We would sell other stuff. We'd make videos, stuff like that. And with conventions being gone, that kind of threw a big stick in our spokes, so to speak.
Yeah.
So we started working on orders and molding and casting. We did a lot of Final Space helmets. That was actually pretty
those.
big. And
those are cool.
That was going places for a while, because we only made a certain amount and they sold out so fast. And then we made a few more and they sold out. And Olan Rogers himself, the creator of Final Space, and I fucking love that show. I've seen that show at least 3 times. I cannot wait for the new season. It sucks that we can't watch it in Canada until it's on Netflix, and that's the type of show where I will not pirate it. Like, I won't, because I just love it so much. I want to watch it in all its beauty.
Also, all at once too. Like,
all at once.
Stay up all night kind of show.
I still haven't seen the second season. Like, I love the first season. I still haven't seen the second.
It's good. It's good.
Yeah.
It's really good. Yeah. So they added some new, really talented voice actors. Like Ashley Birch is in there, and she's fantastic. If you haven't seen her on Critical Role and some other Twitch streams for like D&D and a whole bunch of other stuff. But
so the director, was it the producer?
Yeah, Olan Rogers. Olan Rogers is the creator, and he does the voice of Gary.
Oh, okay.
And then also the voice actor for Avocado. They were wearing our helmets, and they tweeted pictures of it.
Amazing.
It was actually the art director of Final Space that reached out to us, because he saw Wendy and I just had the helmets for ourselves, and he followed us on Instagram, and he reached out and he's like, "Hey, can I get one of those helmets?" And we're like, "Oh, okay." And then so many people messaged us, so we made some molds, we casted them, and so we did that. And then he showed it to Olan Rogers and everything, and it kind of blew up. But then we were planning on making a lot more and selling them at our booth at Toronto Comic Con last winter, or last spring, I guess, and got canceled. Fan Expo, we had a booth there, got canned, and I don't know when cons are going to come back.
Fan Expo messaged me, and they said that they're planning on doing it 2021.
Yeah, they did. I got that. I'm hesitant. I'm not 100% sure.
But Pokemon just canceled in-person tournament for 2021 and said that they're going to be doing it 2022. But then a lot of other like major esports tournaments are moving ahead as if 2021 is going to go forward. So it's kind of like, I would say 70% are assuming they're doing it or acting as if they're going to be going ahead, and then might just like pull out 2 months before kind of thing. Yeah, it's anybody's guess, unfortunately.
It's still so early.
Yeah.
Also at the time, in what Fan Expo is usually end of August, early September, so.
And that could be, that could work.
I'll have a 5-month-old by then. So
Right.
So you're going to be doing a Mandalorian the child cosplay. We get it.
Yes.
we have so many costumes.
Grogu.
We already have a costume. We have a costume. We actually, a friend of ours, we commissioned her to help to make a costume for us because it's all like fabric and sewing is our weak point. That's like our Achilles heel. We can't sew. Wendy can hold her own, but like some of the stuff some people do on Instagram, like our friend, she is fantastic. But
So
we have a costume for her.
so business is a little bit slower today, but in regular times, when cons are strong.
Okay, so regular times, cons are strong. Usually we'll do, depending on what we're making, we'll probably get like some sort of helmet or prop. We'll have a mold for it. We'll spend a day making a mold, prepping stuff like that, and we'll do some test casts. And then we document every step. We'll say, okay, well, if we're doing a slush cast, we'll do this many coats with this material, whatever. We'll test out different materials. And once we get that down, a typical day would be like, how many can we pump out in a day? Okay, well, it takes us 2 hours to cast this thing or 45 minutes to cast that thing. So we'll try to pump out as many as we can in a day. So within a week, we'll have X amount of props. And then the next week, we'll spend all the days sanding and cleaning up the casts. And then we'll spend X amount of time priming them all. And then we paint and prime and paint. And then we'll do all that. And basically, that's it. The fun thing about it is having your own business, and also the scary thing is you're your own boss. You can, like, you know this. You have your own company. You can do what you want with your time. If you don't feel like working in the shop one day, like, well, I don't feel like sanding today, I'll go on the computer and I'll model this new costume I'm working on, and I'll work on a 3D model. Or printer needs a little tune up, so I got to spend the day working on a printer. And it's kind of a play as you go thing. I know we probably need more structure, but for now we're kind of just playing it a little loosey-goosey.
Yeah, it's a gift and a curse for sure.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. But I feel like with having a kid, we need to have more structure, especially because we have to manage our time.
You will, yeah.
A lot more.
You're gonna have to.
Yeah.
You'll figure it out though. When it happens, you'll deal with it. Where do you guys do most of your work? Do you guys have a space that you've rented out, or do you do it in your house?
We do it in our house. I was actually talking to Rob about this before. We had a single car garage. We just moved up to Barrie about a year and a half ago, or almost 2 years ago, and we had a single car garage. And we just spent from like August or July till about maybe early January or so renovating the garage and extending it like another 30-40 feet back. So we have a very long garage with doors on either side.
Because you need a lot of space to do this stuff, especially if you're going to make a bunch of something.
Exactly, yeah. And then our basement, that was our temporary shop. That's now our 3D printing room, because our old 3D printing room is now the baby room. So we have like our 3D prints, we have our laser cutter, we have our vacuum form machine all in the basement. Stuff that can't get dusty and dirty.
You need to do a studio tour, man. Like, we need to see this on Insta. Honestly, like, I think that'd be so good. Do a walkthrough.
It's coming.
Yeah,
it's coming. That's definitely something we've actually had a lot of people ask about. So yeah, we'll definitely do that. Like, in the shop.
Patty, you might know this more than I do. I talked to Aaron a little bit before in the pre-show, and he was saying he watches Twitch, but he's not he's exploring streaming on Twitch, but hasn't really done too much streaming or any streaming really on it. So this is the first time ever being on Twitch, in fact.
It's literally my first time on Twitch.
Welcome.
Exciting.
But are there a lot of Twitch channels, Pat, with like maker channels, like doing a lot of that stuff?
It definitely exists. Mm-hmm. I would say it's less than the gaming side of things, but I love it. I think it's awesome.
I do know a lot of cosplayers they do stream on Twitch, but it's like very few and far in between. Like the big cosplayers will say, "Hey, we're doing a Twitch stream on a build or something," and
they'll stream painting themselves or the process of building it. Is that something you might be interested in?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, there's so many. That's another thing with, like I said before, of me being a hummingbird. I'm like, okay, well, we have our Instagram, but we should definitely do something for Twitch, because I've had so many people talk to me about that. But then I watched your video from last week, and he's talking about Patreon, And I was like, oh, well, maybe Patreon. But then I'm like, well, Instagram has live video, Facebook has live, I don't know, YouTube has live. But at the same time, we want a YouTube channel. But then, well, we can't be spending our time producing YouTube videos because that's a full-time thing, and producing actual work to make money with.
Well,
because we're not just gonna make YouTube videos and then boom, we're making money on YouTube. That's not how it works.
Who does like most of your content for your Instagram channel? Because I feel like that content is fire. Like, it's awesome.
It's really good. Yeah, the photos and videos are amazing.
The videos,
that's all Wendy,
the stories.
That's
man,
all us.
I feel like, yeah, it's a full-time job, but at the same time, you guys already have a knack for it, you know?
Well, we have experience in video, like very basic video editing and stuff like that, having worked in animation, and we learned about video stuff in college. But like all those videos, like Wendy assembling stuff.
Yeah.
I love how she does it. She actually has it assembled and then she disassembles it and reverses it. So it looks like she's just snapping pieces together.
Oh, cool.
And
yeah. That makes sense.
Like, how do you do it so precisely? She's like, I don't know, magnets.
Why are you blinking backwards? Wait, can you blink backwards?
Why are you breathing funny? You're like, but
well, you've heard it all before, but I would echo the same things that people are telling you, that there's definitely an opportunity for you to live stream your work while you're doing it, especially if you had at least 2 cameras. You could even do 3, because I think you guys are doing so many different things that you'd want to have an overview one and then a few specific ones. And like, that's sort of like, you're live, you're interacting, you're doing your work, and you look down at chat once in a while and discuss something with them. Well, and then the YouTube videos are much more like similar to the Instagram ones, where you're going to do it condensed down into 5 minutes or something. Where
you gotta structure, you gotta, like, sometimes we'll do a little storyboard or something and we'll figure it out.
I think it's worth doing too, especially for a product when you're going to make a whole bunch of it, like the avocado helmets. Like, that's the kind of thing that goes with it as far as marketing goes, and
I think so.
Cross promotes.
Another thing we've actually gotten a lot of requests for is streaming on our 3D modeling, because I think one thing that I think Wendy and I had for us starting in cosplay that really gave us a leg up in getting to do what we do now, not that much, but is that we come from an animation background, and she is literally a professional modeler, and I was like a professional modeler in rigger, so she's literally a pro. And so a lot of people do 3D printing. You can buy a 3D printer for like $200 now, watch a few tutorials, and you can print stuff, and that's great, but you're limited to the content that you can find to print. So you have to go to like Thingiverse or wherever and buy 3D models to print. So what we can,
unless you make it yourself,
we make everything ourselves, because that's what we've done for years. So if I say I want to build this elaborate Diablo costume, or I want to build this elaborate whatever, like we built our Final Space helmets. I went on Netflix, I took some screenshots of Gary from different angles, and I just modeled it. And because again, not trying to brag, but we're not limited by what the resources we have in terms of 3D. So a lot of people have asked us to stream our modeling.
And I feel like that content,
that'd be pretty cool.
I've seen a lot of graphic designers do that type of content sped up and repurposed for like Instagram and Twitter and even TikTok, right? Where it's like you're streaming it and it takes you, 30 minutes, an hour, whatever. And then you condense that, like the major points, into 30 seconds, and people get to see it the whole way through. And I've seen those accounts blow up. So Patty, I agree with you, man.
Explore that for sure. Both options are great. The live one, it's sort of like 2 different audiences. Some people want to see it all now in a short amount of time, and other people really want that satisfying, like, I'm gonna have this on my second screen and watch you slowly create this thing, and I'll be there for the process.
Yeah,
I'd like seeing stuff like that too, because same thing. It's just I like to see I like to see people's thought process.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
YouTube videos I watch about like how to build this or building that, and like I'm addicted to like woodworking videos and forging videos and metalworking videos. And sometimes they'll say, okay, well, I did this and I thought about this and I did this and whatever. And I love that. But when people sit, it's just like, I'm cutting this, and then it cuts to this, it cuts to that.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's cool, but I would love to see your thought process, because the way I look at things, I love to understand how they're doing it, their thought process, not just what you're doing. you know.
Right.
I'm just that type of person that likes to understand every angle from it before I tackle a project myself. Sometimes it's a hindrance,
Yeah.
but I find it can be helpful too.
That makes a lot of sense, especially because you're coming at it with a lot of knowledge background in it. You would want to see more into the person's thought process.
So what's Aaron, yours and Wendy's vision for what Married Makers will become? Like, we're talking money isn't a constraint, timing isn't a constraint, the ultimate goal for what you think this could turn into for you guys.
Ultimate goal. Well, ultimate goal is just to be making a living doing what we do and having fun doing it and making cool stuff. One thing I will say, both Wendy
Great
and I,
perspective.
is we love, it's in our name, we love making stuff. Whether it's on the computer, where our whole journey started digitally for animation, or with our hands, which is what I'm falling in love with more and more. It's as long as we're doing something like that and we can put food on the table or be comfortable, I don't have to have like an MTV Cribs thing. Like, I don't need, like an Audi or whatever. I just need to be happy, comfortable, and fed. We can support each other, support our kid. We can have fun and inspire some people on the way. That's the ultimate goal. Because I'm going to tell you one story. One of the best things that Wendy and I ever received was, in terms of compliments, was we had our booth at Fan Expo in 2019, and these 4 women came up to our booth, and they said one of the reasons why they came to Fan Expo was to see us.
Amazing.
And I was like, really? Us? And at the time, we only had like maybe 1,500, 2,000 followers on Instagram, and we didn't really do anything else. We had it at Facebook, but we didn't really touch that. And they just liked our work, and I felt so happy. And actually, they're all tattoo artists, and one of them actually tattooed me.
What do you got there? What is that?
It's a little hammer, and I can't really see
wrapped in a vine there. Oh, the strawberry.
Yeah,
is that a strawberry?
Pretty cool.
Raspberry. Yeah.
That's dope.
Sorry, that's kind of cold.
I want a blanket.
So, yeah, I know. I had to pull the blanket. It was a little chilly.
It's okay, man. I'm all business up top. I'm wearing shorts under here. It's not a big deal. Yeah, we're all doing it.
But yeah, it was so cool, the fact that people said that they had to come see us, and when they found out we had a booth, and I'm like, that was fantastic. It was such a good feeling. Even if one person says that, it was just like so inspiring that I don't know what, it just made me feel so good. And that's when I was like, I know I'm not paying all my bills off doing this, but like I feel like I made it in the fact that, I don't know, we had fans.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
You know what I mean?
That is awesome.
Like,
it's a great feeling.
And we don't have many, but like we don't have many followers, but I love it. I absolutely love it when we get messages, people walk up to us. And one time we're at DragonCon in Atlanta, which is so far away, and someone yells across the floor, "Married Makers!" And we're
That's
like,
awesome.
What? And someone like chasing us down, and because they recognize us.
It's like I'm cool. I don't know, Pat, are you threading together this like common weave between like, Casey and Gobs with, it's not really about the numbers with content creation. It's just about loving what you do.
Yeah.
I think if you
and then having that spread to everyone else,
it'll show through your work, how you present yourself, or like how you present your work. Obviously, if you're like a giant dick, no one's going to want to watch you, right? But like, I mean, I've seen so many talented people, like in animation, for example, but they don't either have the passion, but they are good, but they just don't have passion. They don't have drive. They don't have a lot of stuff like that. And I feel bad because it's like a waste of talent. And I'm not saying we're super talented, but I feel like if we put ourselves into our work, not because like, oh, this will get a lot of views, that's why I made this Diablo helmet. No one's ever heard of this Diablo helmet unless you've played Diablo specifically. Like, everyone's heard of Pikachu, everyone's heard of Tracer from Overwatch, everyone's heard of all those people. But I built this because I wanted to build it, because I wanted to have fun and challenge myself with the build. And I did. And I loved it. And to have people have such a positive reaction to something I was passionate about, and same with Wendy, is just it's euphoric. You know, it's
Great
almost
word. Great
better
word.
than drugs. No,
Almost as good as drugs.
It's a close second.
Speaking of challenges, though, Pat.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I think it's time. Why don't we have a quick bathroom break?
Yes.
Sort of thing. Get a drink.
Speaking my language.
Everyone's excited about this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, Aaron, I'm excited about this trivia. Pat.
Okay. I
Usually
will
does
toss it to you here, Aaron. So I will toss to you first. Your choice. I could do Diablo 3 locations by sound, which is tough.
Wait.
Okay.
Or-
How many questions does Aaron get? 10?
Yeah, we shoot for 10.
Okay. Diablo 3 locations.
Or
Okay. Well, that's
let me pull up my other one. Can you hear that?
yeah, I heard that. Yeah,
So, Aaron, while
Okay.
Pat's figuring that out,
that's old school Pokemon.
I
dude.
have
Come on.
a question for
I
you.
know.
You said that you're a red fan over a blue fan. Like,
I'm a blue fan, man.
blue fan. Oh. I'm so sorry.
Pump
How
the
dare
brakes,
I?
Pump the brakes.
So, I don't get it. Is it the same game just with different Pokemon?
Did you never play them?
No, never.
No judgment. No judgment.
No,
but
you can judge.
yeah,
it's okay.
okay. Well, yeah, they're basically the same game. It's just in some areas, like in Pokemon Red versus Blue, some areas you can only get a Vulpix in Blue, you can only get a Growlithe in Red. You know, you can
It's
get
an important question.
yeah, you can get like Caterpies in Blue, or you get Weedles in Red. You know, like so in certain areas you get one version in one Pokemon in one version, and the another Pokemon in the other version.
Yeah.
So, there's how many was the original Pokemon? 50, 150?
151.
151.
Well, Mew is
The-
Mew was the transition for Generation 1 and 2, but it's 151.
151. And so, in Pokemon Red or Blue, you could only get 75 Pokemon, or could you get them all?
No, there's only maybe 15 or 20 Pokemon that were only exclusive to Red versus only exclusive to Blue.
Got
So
it.
you could probably get 120 or so. And then some are exclusive to trading. Like they would only evolve if you trade. So
It's kind of brutal that Caterpie is an exclusive Pokemon. Like, I don't know about that.
you could find it, but it was super duper 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 rare in one version.
But you
It's
think
a
they
Caterpie.
make the good Pokemon exclusive?
Yeah, but it's
Yeah,
Caterpie.
I know, right?
So whatever.
Caterpie, who cares?
Exactly. I remember my brother and I would be like, "Hey, do you have a Weedle?" I'm like, "Who wants a Weedle?" Like,
I'll trade
Yeah,
you that
you
Charmander
Weedle.
for that Weedle. You can kindly leave.
Yeah, kindly leave. When you first came across Pokemon way back in the day, were you immediately drawn to it? Like, did it blow your mind?
so my first time I saw Pokemon, it was advertised, and this is more for the Canadian listeners right now. YTV,
Mm-hmm.
check this out this time, and that first song came on, the intro, I want to be the very best. I saw that, and I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
And then I saw the Pokemon, and I'm like, what? And right away, I was like, this is so cool.
Meanwhile,
And then I found out
Pokemon
there's
is
a
an
game.
anime, and you made fun of Wendy earlier for being a weeb. I'm just saying,
No,
she's not here
she
to
was
defend
more like-
herself,
she-
but you just sang the
she's-
Pokemon theme song.
That's very true. But I was more your I was like your typical Shonen Jump
Wendy?
kind of anime nerd.
Wendy, if you're
Okay.
listening, I got your back.
She's been listening on and off. Yes, I'll hear for saying that actually, but
Would you say Pokemon's like North American weeb though? It's not true anime, right? Like it is anime, but it's
it's
not.
an anime, and it started off as
Yeah.
a manga, it started off as a game, I think, and then it was the manga, then the anime. I could be completely wrong. I don't know.
I think Rob's just hinting at that it's so popular that it becomes
It is.
mainstream and not.
It's not like
Yeah,
it's not like what's a
but-
super an anime lover's anime. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so one of my
Naruto, maybe?
favorite. That's still kind of that's Shonen Jump, so that's still kind of like Dragon Ball Z mainstream. It's still anime, of course,
Mm.
but I will say real anime, hardcore anime fans, like maybe from a little older, like from like the 90s, early 2000s, like my age. Fooly Cooley.
I love Fooly Cooley. It's my favorite. It's my favorite anime.
Isn't it amazing?
It's my favorite.
It's
anime.
so amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that like late night on like what was it, Teletoon at night or something, and I was watching with my brother. I'm like, what is this? What is this? And it was just blew my mind. So that's like, I would consider that like pure anime.
So
or like
okay.
Escaflowne. Escaflowne is like another one I can say is.
I'm gonna write it
not
down.
mainstream.
How do you spell it? Do you know how to spell it? I haven't heard of it.
Escaflowne. Oh man, you'll love it. ESC AFLOWNE.
You fail the spelling bee.
I did. Oh, okay.
No, actually, I think you did. You nailed it.
I think that was it. Yeah, you nailed it. Yeah.
No, it's so
Best
funny
theme
that
song.
you bring that up. Like Gobs and I were talking, and Pat and I were talking about anime. I think on the pre-show last time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I said like, so Gobs was huge into anime. I was like, man, my favorite anime, nobody's ever heard of it, is Fooly Cooley, FLCL.
I love that.
And
Yeah.
and you led off with that, man. Yeah. So do you also like Cowboy Bebop?
Yeah, I like it.
And
I actually have the DVD. A friend of mine. So I'm gonna lay it out there. I've only seen the movie, Cowboy
Interesting.
Bebop.
Yeah, you gotta watch the show.
My friends lent me the DVD, and I'm starting to work my way through it.
You gotta watch the show. It's
But Wendy
It's
has
so
seen
good.
it, and she loves it.
It's so good.
It's like yeah.
So these guys got me onto Samurai Champloo.
Yeah, Samurai Champloo. Yeah.
Which I had no idea. I'm a huge Nujabes fan,
Okay.
and Gobs recommended it to me, and I love the Nujabes. I'm on episode 2. I'm addicted. I'm in love with it. Like it's so good. So I'm a little bit of a weeb myself. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, the funny thing is, I called Wendy like a weeb and everything like that. And when I was first met her in college, I would go to her dorm and like we're hanging out, and she has like manga and anime everywhere. I'm like, you like anime? But then I think about it. I loved a lot of anime, and so like I'm just like, no, it's the kettle in the pot, right? I'm just like, oh, you're an anime, but I watched a lot of it too. Like I watched the old Speed Racer. You know, like
Awesome.
that is anime.
Okay.
Yeah, that's anime. That is anime for sure. That's anime.
Yeah, like that's hard. That's like one of the OG.
roots of anime. Yeah.
Yeah, like it is. Yeah, it is. So I can't really speak. I can't really poke at her.
I remember I have a like funny story about this. So my previous business, okay, business partner and I, we were in the boardroom pitching the chief marketing officer, so an executive for one of the largest Canadian real estate companies, commercial real estate companies. And he was such a cool dude. So he had this passion for not anime, but Dutch television. And so we start talking to him, and I don't even know how it came up, but we're like,
how high do you have to be to watch Dutch television?
Dude, we're all there, we're all like in our suits and ties, and we're all talking about serious business stuff. And he's like, you've never heard of Dutch television? You haven't lived. And he's like, starts going in, like, I don't know what the term is for weebing on Dutch television, but there's a couple of Dutch TV shows that are incredible. And it's kind of like how anime does this thing with like, it explores concepts that you don't see in other TV or genres or cartoons.
Yeah.
And even Japanese and Korean movies and television will also do this. They don't care. They'll kill off the main character. And in like Game of Thrones, it's like revolutionary, but Japan and Korea has been doing it since forever. Dutch television is kind of that for TV. It's so good. There are some that are so good. And one of them...
Are you watching like
It's
with
like
subtitles?
animated?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Tell us.
I would recommend watching it.
live action.
Yeah, it's live action. It's not cartooned.
Oh.
Yeah, and I would recommend watching it unsubtitled. One of the ones that's out there, I think, on Netflix right now is called Rain or The Rain, and it's legit. Like it's basically if you get rained on, you get fucked up. Like you turn into like.
Oh, I've seen a thing for that on Netflix. Like I saw a little blurby thing on. I was scrolling through.
It'll turn you off because like I don't like this. Like this is
yes.
like subtitled or whatever. All these, but it's legit. It's pretty good, and I would say it's the Pokemon of Dutch television. right? Like it's North Americanized.
Okay.
There's some really good stuff out there. But anyway, I just thought it was hilarious that this fucking
I'll give it a shot.
CMO.
I love watching stuff with subtitles. Dude, I'm all about like Asian kung fu movie. I'm a sucker for martial arts and kung fu movies. Like I'll watch Thai martial art movies.
Bak.
There's a lot. I love Ong Bak. Yeah, and The Protector. Vietnamese martial art movies have been really getting bigger now. I've even
Cool. I don't think I've seen any of them.
I've seen a couple of Filipino martial art movies and
featuring like Kali, yeah.
Exactly, like stick fighting and stuff like that, and
Awesome.
like I don't know, growing up, like I'm half Filipino, so growing up around that, all I saw was like cheesy Filipino dramas, and I was like, what is this? And so when I saw like actual martial arts and stuff in the movies, and it's like Filipino, I'm like, whoa! So I watch a lot of like Asian subtitled movies. I'll even watch French subtitled movies. I'll watch a lot of Dutch. Sure, I'll give it a shot.
Give it a shot. Give it a shot. Go.
It's all about the content, right? I don't care if it's
True.
hard I have to read. I just care about the content.
Did you ever do any martial arts growing up?
I did.
Yeah, what did you do?
Interesting story about that. So I was actually a black belt in Taekwondo.
Oh wow,
sick.
I did it for about 8 or 9 years.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually supposed to. So how old was I? I think it was supposed to be the 2000 and. I don't know what years the Olympics are on now because it's all messed up.
Yeah, it should have been this year. It should have been 20, so it should have been
20s. Okay, so that means I think it was 2008 or 2012. I don't remember which one it was, but my teacher, his name was Master Rim, and he was a 2 or 3 time world champion in Taekwondo. Taekwondo was now introduced to the Olympics, and he wanted to send me to Korea or China. I don't remember which, because even though it is a Korean martial art, it was pretty big in some places in China, and to actually do like full-time training for the Olympics. I was like, oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
But I just didn't.
And that would have changed your entire life, though, right? Like.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't be where I am.
Life path. Yeah.
And I was like, and like my parents like, that's expensive. And I was like, yeah, I don't know if I want to do that. And I was in high school at this point. I'm like, I'd rather just like skateboard and play in my band and chase girls, and, typical nice. Teenage rebel stuff.
Yeah.
So I didn't do it. But yeah, growing up, I was really into it, and because my dad was a huge fan of Bruce Lee, and we watched a lot of old Jackie Chan, movies, Bruce Lee movies, Chow Yun-fat, Sammo Hung, Donnie Yen. Like I eat it all up. I love it.
Cool.
And that's what I'm gonna do with my kids too.
Will they get into Taekwondo, or they do like Muay Thai? Will they do a little jiu-jitsu?
I will introduce them to anything they want to try, and if they like it, if they like it, they
except
like it.
Except for karate,
not,
right?
Yeah.
Like
karate. No, that's like the chicken balls of like.
There's one good type of karate in my opinion, and it's Kyokushin karate, which is the legit fighters come out of Kyokushin karate like dojos. Like they are great fighters and some world champions and stuff. And it's like, it's no joke. It is the only like fighting karate that I really know of. The other karates, North American karate, it's not karate. It's not.
It's just it's just one of those things. I'm sure it is.
Some more.
But it's just one of those things that. It's been so westernized that I feel like everyone's desensitized to it.
Like if you were going to put somebody in karate, just put them in boxing. Just put them in Muay Thai. It's
kickboxing, Muay Thai. Yeah,
just
for sure.
Okay, sorry, Pat.
The chicken ball.
Totally like sidetracked.
I derailed you, man.
Okay.
Did I give you enough time to get some questions? I vamped. Did I vamp?
You vamped really well. I love it. Okay, so I didn't even give you your second choice, which was Pokemon Blue soundtrack by location. Both tough. So again, you don't have to like know the exact right name. You could do half-half, yeah.
Okay, let's do half.
If you know, if you're able to generally describe the place and you forget the name, that's okay.
Okay. It's funny. I just played through Pokemon Blue a few months ago, for like the umpteenth thousandth time. So, I'm hoping it's fresh.
Hopefully.
Do you max min your plays on Pokemon? Like all the like.
No.
Okay.
No. I sometimes I will do it. Like I had tournaments with friends. Like we'll make our own gyms. And then we have our own team to challenge each other's gyms. And I'll do that for that. But when I play Pokemon, I just want to have fun and like, this guy's cool. I like this guy. Although I do have my regulars in Pokemon Blue that I'll always get. So
How into Pokemon Go did you get?
I never played it.
You never
Really?
picked it up.
Shocking.
I'm shocked.
Not even like for like a day to try it out or
Let
something?
me. I will explain. I had to explain this so many
I
times.
hate walking.
Sure.
So I love the concept. I love all of it. I love the community that brings with it. I love the fact that there was like world peace when it first came out. You know, all that stuff. But the problem is when it comes to certain games, I have a very addictive personality to certain games.
Okay.
Like I'm replaying through Breath of the Wild right now. Wendy will be like going to bed at like 11:30 or something like that. She's like, "Don't stay up too late, okay?" I'm like, "Okay." And then cut to me sneaking in at 5 o'clock in the morning. She's like, "Did you just come to bed?" I'm like, "No, good night."
Go to the bathroom. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, "I swear, I'll just get this one shrine, you know." And then, so like with Pokemon Go, I knew if I did that, I would just be lost in downtown Toronto. I'd be lost in a field somewhere, and I would just get addicted to it.
It's your heroin. Yeah, you just can't.
It's my fix. I can't do it, and that's another reason, like why I never played WoW for the same reason. I knew it would consume my life, so like I can't do it.
Yeah,
it was like a self.
Not even once.
Abstinence. Not even once.
Yeah,
heroin. Not even once.
I respect that self-knowledge. Okay, here we go.
Okay,
we got number one. Good crack. There's a lot of places I could take you, so hopefully I take you to ones that are, really memorable for you and that bring back some Sonic memories. Okay.
That's the ghost tower in Lavender Town. No, wait. No, it's not.
Keep listening.
It's not. Is it the ghost tower in Lavender Town?
I will tell you it is not.
Doesn't sound very ghosty.
No, it's not. That one goes. Dun, 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 dun. It's a cave. It's a cave.
It is the cave.
It's either Mount Moon or the dark cave that leads to Lavender. I mean, to the Lavender Town. I'm gonna say Mount Moon.
I love Mount Moon. Is correct. Where's my ding?
Don't do the ding. Don't do the ding.
No ding.
Do it.
Oh.
Do the level. You should use the Pokemon. Use the Pokemon level up ding.
Oh, okay.
That's a great idea.
That's a great sound. That's something.
Yeah.
This YouTube video will get DMC'd.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well done.
Awesome. You
well
got
done.
there.
Yeah, that wasn't easy.
You talked yourself out of the wrong answer.
Yeah, I realized that the Lavender Town, the Ghost Tower, had a different beat to. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I'm ready for the next one.
Start. Here we go. On the right. There we go.
That's swimming music. That's when you're surfing. I know it. Is that when you're surfing down to Cinnabar Island?
Yes!
That is insane, man.
So you leave Pallet Town, you go south to Cinnabar.
Well done.
By the way,
I'm loving this.
So Pat, did you play Pokemon Blue or Red?
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Did you know the Missingno hack?
No, tell me more. I was a kid. Okay. Like I didn't know nothing.
Okay, so there's a hack in the Game Boy game, and you had to be very careful because it could fuck up your game. But it's called Missingno, and on Cinnabar Island, you had to have gotten a certain point into the game, and then whatever item you have 6 in your item list, you talk to the man who teaches you how to throw a Pokeball in Viridian City. Then you fly to Cinnabar Island immediately, and you go to the right side of the island, and you surf up and down the right side, and you'll encounter, it looks like a glitch, like a block of glitchy shit. Like sometimes it looks like pieces of the road, sometimes it looks like one of the gym leaders, and you encounter a wild Missingno, and then you have to capture it or kill it. I don't remember. I think you can capture it, and then after that, whatever item was 6th in your slot, you get 99 of it. So it's like a.
That's
so
wild.
we would get like a.
Did they build this in intentionally? Probably.
I think it was just a glitch.
And, it's a weird ass glitch, hey.
Yeah.
My brother and I would do that, and we get like a rare candy, and we would put that 6 in the slot, and then you'd surf up and down, and then we get 99 rare candies, and then we'd max out our Pokemon to the max level to battle each other. After
hilarious.
we beat the game and we had fun, and then we do that, and then
That's hilarious.
But that was such a cool hack. It was such a cool hack, and like I thought I was like such a hacker, like hack the planet for Pokemon.
Hack the planet.
Hack the planet.
Hackers is a great movie.
Such a good
movie. Okay, here we go. Let's take you to another place. Back in time. Pokemon Blue.
This is. Okay. This is, I think, going either from Palette to Viridian or Viridian to the path. I forget what the path is called that leads to Pewter. It's like where you find Caterpie and stuff.
So this is. You've left Mount Moon.
Okay.
You're not at Vermilion yet.
Okay, so you're going south from Vermilion through the underground tunnel to get to Vermilion City. Or is it at the bridge, the North Bridge? There's so many options.
So many options.
Okay, I'm gonna make a final choice. I'm gonna say the underground tunnel connecting Vermilion to. Oh, shit, where's Misty from again? I don't remember. I don't know. Yeah. I think the underground tunnel that connects it. Underground passage, underground walkway. I could tell.
Hold on, was me scrambling to get my.
I knew. The second you said that, I'm like, oh.
That one is Cerulean City.
Cerulean City. Damn.
It's all good. It's all good. You're doing great. I feel like your mind is already back in the place now.
I know all the songs. I know, like I can hum them all day, but it's just placing them. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay, here we go. We'll pick a good one here. Oh, no sound on.
Isn't this the biking music?
They might use things in multiple places too, which is a problem.
Well, is the guy on the bike? Because I think it's the same music everywhere if you're on the bike.
Oh shoot. Okay, let's.
So he's definitely on the bike.
I may have to. I would have to just like nix this question then from the. Okay, or we could give you a point there for that, but.
That's fine.
It's not my
but
intent.
When you're on your bike, it overrides the music. I think everywhere.
It's fine. I got another one.
Oh boy. Oh, that might be the burnt down mansion. No, it's not. It's Silphco or the gaming corner where you fight Team Rocket. It's either Silphco or Gaming Corner, and that's where you both fight Team Rocket. Oh God! I'm gonna say Silphco. Is it Gaming Corner?
So close. It was Team Rocket's hideout there. Gaming Corner.
In the Gaming Corner? Oh, it was between the two!
You were so close.
All right. I think we gotta go to some Diablo now.
Okay. Yeah.
How many do I need to pass this?
Now, that was 4, because I canceled one. You get one more of this. One more Pokemon.
Right.
Okay. So I got
you're
1
2
for
3?
2
for 2? No, you're 2 for 2.
2 for 4?
2 for 4, sorry.
2 for 4,
2 for 4? Okay. Oh, no.
Okay. What about this one? Let's see what you get here.
That's the opening credits.
I thought I'd give you a softball, and it worked.
that was an underhand lob. Yeah, I mean, like, there's this
I don't know. The thing is,
around.
everything is very place oriented. I thought I'd throw in, an opening credit, throw you off. It didn't work. you know.
Man. How many kids in the 90s heard that song every single time they turned on that Game Boy? There's no way you would never know that song. See, the problem with Diablo 3, I've played hundreds and hundreds of hours of Diablo 3, but it got to the point where I would just be grinding in Diablo 3.
Exactly.
Zombie mode.
I would have Netflix on, or I'd have something else on. But
yeah,
let's do it. Let's do it.
We'll try.
Have you played
okay.
Path of Exile?
Yeah. It's great.
So what do you think compared to Diablo 3? Like more or less, not the same? It's totally different?
Well, it's a little sloppy around the edges, but I still had a lot of fun. I liked how it was a little more open than Diablo 3, a little more customizable.
Like end game oriented.
It's very end. There's a lot of content you can grind through.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I only played through it once, and then I kind of was like, I had my fix, but I'll always go back to Diablo 3.
I can't wait for Diablo 4, man. It looks so
Oh
good.
my god. Please.
Man. Yeah. Did you see? Yeah.
Just happened already.
At BlizzCon, I got to play. I got to cut the line and play the demo for it at BlizzCon last year.
That's unreal.
That's sick.
How good was it?
To get it. They brought back the druid. I played the sorceress because I'm
Diablo 2, the druid.
Yep, and the sorceress, and I was like D2. I was 99% of the time I was ice sorceress.
Yeah, I mean that was the play. Yeah,
frozen orb, just frozen orb,
and then the icicles shattering across the screen.
Hidden cow level, frozen orb,
yeah.
frozen orb.
yeah.
Mow down some cows.
Yeah, I love when you call Blizzard's office. You know, when you call people's offices, like, thank you for calling, like ABC company, for your company's extension, press 1. When you call Blizzard's office, it's Deckard Cain.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Hello.
so good.
Hello. No one is here to answer your call.
Stay a while.
Stay a while.
Do they say? And listen to the options.
Yep. Yeah, it's so good.
Sick. That's so cool. I almost want to call them and just go through that. Yeah. Call them in like off hours, right?
Yeah, true.
Have you seen that cosplayer who does Deckard Cain?
If he was at the previous BlizzCon that you were at, I've seen. Yeah, that was really good.
Well, he used to be around other cons too, and then Blizzard's like, you should stay a while and come help us out. And I think he was there I think he was doing something for Blizzard at there. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure he was, and he just nails it.
Yeah,
it's great.
Really
the voice and everything. He's fantastic.
Do you know if is there gonna be any cosplay at all? Like, I know that it's an online event, but do you think that they might have some people? It's like it's one of the things that I always tune in for is the.
I would hope so, and I would think so.
I
don't
still
know
be able to do that.
I don't like. I don't talk like I don't get.
Oh yeah, I'm just asking you to guess.
But in my guess, I would say yes. Maybe not to as much extent because they have pretty high budget costumes, but I would say for some, like maybe Diablo, but that new WoW expansion that I don't know if it came out or if it's coming out, I don't know, but I've seen trailers for it. Maybe something for that, I don't know, maybe just props.
Well, apparently I just had their investors like earnings call, and they're announcing at least one new title, potentially 2, and it's mobile oriented.
Is it Diablo Mobile?
Well, we know that's coming, so that's already been announced. And it might be more about that. I don't know if it's out yet. I don't think
Diablo Immortal or whatever.
I don't think it's out yet. I think that maybe the beta is.
Here's the thing, though. I tried it and it's fun.
Yeah,
it was a fun.
I've heard
game.
that it is very fun. Yeah,
it's fun. You don't play Diablo for like its in-depth game mechanics. You play it because you just want to hack away and have fun and grind.
And you like the world, and I like the sound. I like the character.
And that rush you get when you see a purple item drop or a green item drop.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, oh yeah.
I just find that like mobile gaming has like a predatory business model, right, where it's like microtransaction paywalls. So that hasn't been a good
loop you in with some free stuff, and then
and I don't like the touch screen, and I find that the gameplay is just clunky. It's just not as good, and it's a small screen. I personally, of all of the gaming mediums out there, find that mobile is like one of the least enjoyable for me. I'd rather play it on PC or on console or something.
Of course. But I think that you. I lost my screen. I think that you're thinking about it the wrong way. Like, It's for when you're riding the bus or like stuck on an airplane.
I have my Switch.
True.
Hey, Aaron, I think Pat
true.
just lost his stream, so I think you have to click in to watch his stream again so you can hear his music.
All right.
That is in town. Oh god, what's Act 1 called again?
For me, that like...
It's Diablo 3, right?
Yeah, it's Diablo 3.
Yeah, it's New Tristram?
It's Old Tristram.
Old Tristram,
We'll get that one to you, definitely.
Okay.
For me, it's that very first sound every time.
Yeah.
I know I'm in Tristram. Like, here I am.
Yeah.
I actually haven't played Diablo 3 before.
It's
Robbie,
fun.
let's just, come on. Maybe,
I got the special edition.
Don't lie to us.
I bought a special edition for myself, and Wendy, she didn't want the special edition for her, but we set it all up. We got our friends got some. We were all ready to go, and when it finally came, we installed it and played. Oh, it was so great. Then I didn't play for like 3 years because I was too addicted, and then I cut it and got back into it. Yeah.
I could feel that. Okay, I feel like this one is a good choice. Though it might be tough. We have to give it a few seconds here to get into.
It's building.
Yeah. This YouTube video has one comment. It says, "This track is a masterpiece."
You're not wrong. It's so good. Listen to this.
It's very good. Oh boy. Is
I'm
it
gonna skip it forward a minute, maybe.
Okay.
I mean, you got some sound effects in there too.
Is there any way to turn it up? Maybe I'll just turn my
Yeah, I can turn it up. And you can turn it up as well.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna say... This doesn't sound very... It does sound kind of like angelic, so maybe Act... Is it Act 4 or 5 they're in heaven? No, it's... Wait, Act 1, Act 2... Act 4 is the barbarians, what is it, Act 5? I'm gonna say it's the gates of heaven, or the gates of hell? I don't remember which one. It's Act 4, I think, when you go into heaven, and you have to free all the, well, like the hell has invaded heaven. It's from the expansion.
I think it sounds...
No, it's not.
All right, we gotta cut it off here at some point, Aaron.
Okay. I'm gonna say
12-minute clip. We can.
I'm gonna say the barbarian mountain Act 4, 3. I don't remember which one.
I am into that answer.
It's the barbarian fort, right? Yeah.
It's the Highlands, but I think you placed it well. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
The winter fort with the barbarians when you.
We're outside the log walls and stuff. Like, yeah.
That's the problem with grinding. Like I said, you just unplug and you forget, and you're just like, oh, okay, and you just kind of okay. But I know
you're doing good though.
Okay.
So does he get a ding or
pick another iconic one?
Is it a ding or an?
I gave him the Pokemon ding.
You got the ding.
But maybe I should give him the. What about something like this?
I love.
There we go.
Feel of the mechanics. Yeah! Explosion!
Loot explosion everywhere.
Loot explosion!
The dopamine that was just released in your two brains right now.
I
know. Yeah. I had a Pavlovian effect. I drooled a little bit.
Yeah.
Give me the loot.
Yeah.
Okay, alright. I feel like this one should dig up some memories for you. I feel like it's pretty iconic. I'm gonna skip in. All of these are so tough, though.
They are. This is a lot tougher than I was expecting. Like
your Pokemon ones, you've spent like your ears were listening so much more, and they're way more catchy and repetitive.
Yeah, they're like jingles.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just tell us how it feels. Right?
It feels. I think this one feels like the more angelic one. Is it Hell's Gate or Heaven's Gate? Angel's Gate. I don't remember the name of it, but it's the Act 4. Oh my god. Don't do drugs, kids. Is it Heaven's Gate? Is that what is that what the act is called, or the town? Or that's my answer. The heaven.
Okay.
Act 4 with the Heaven's Gate. Hopefully if I keep repeating it, I'll make it true.
Is that you dying?
Yeah, I pulled that one from Diablo 2 though.
Yeah.
That's Leoric's. What's his?
Oh,
his
Leoric's
Keep?
temple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
King Leoric's. It's tough, man.
Fuck you, Leoric. That is a tough one. That is a tough one.
Yeah.
So is this the 9th question or the 10th question?
I'm only like 4 for like 7 or something like that.
You're not doing
Yeah,
great.
3 for 7.
But we're also
This is
not
going to be the 9th.
We're also not giving you too many hints. If you watched
That's
me
right.
doing the Zelda, it was way easier, and I did way worse.
Okay.
It's true. Yeah, if you at the end of this, if you feel bad, just go listen to Rob struggle with this Ocarina of Time questions.
I was planning on
I
listening.
think I got
to
a good
this
one
yeah.
here.
Okay. Okay. That is the desert. It's Caldur Desert, Caldir Desert. Oh my god.
It feels deserty. I like where you're
I
going.
expect you to get.
It definitely feels deserty.
It's like the desert plains. It's Act 2. I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
Chaldean or Chaldean is
Chaldean is the town. It's the deserty town.
Yeah, that's a town. Is this like the arid wastelands or the arid plains? Or something wastelands?
We'll skip ahead too to see if there's anything. I think it's more of the same though.
Yeah. I'm floundering here, boys. I'm floundering here.
You're really dancing around it. You're right there.
Give him a little hint, Pat. Give him a little hint.
No.
It's within the desert, but it's not quite as dry here as it would be in the main desert.
So it's like the oasis, the arid oasis or something like that? No, that was kind of like me. Alright.
Nicely done, sir.
Well, I think you
It's
earned
really
that,
not a gimme.
right?
It's really not a gimme. This is tough. This is real tough.
The soundtracks are so they're all fantastic, but it's like you said, there's like an airy, breezy kind of feel. So you do get
And it's only
it's made for grinding.
And it's also only one part of sound design. Like this, there's also a lot of monster noises, a lot of hitting and slashing noises. Like there's a lot that's going into
bell noises. Yeah. Okay.
All right, last one for all the marbles. Here we go.
Okay.
This will give you the
this
passing. This is the passing or failing grade question, I believe.
Oh, okay. All right. Do you? Okay. Okay. I think I'm ready.
Between two, and I was like, oh, I think they're both good. I'll go with this one.
Okay. Oh. I do know this.
I do have a legitimate hint for you too, if you need it.
Actually, I think I used this in one of my D&D games in Roll 20.
Sure, why not? I often use Diablo music as the background sound. Okay, so your hint is that this soundtrack, it's more about who you're fighting than it is exactly where you are.
Yeah. Well, I don't... It's not Diablo.
No, it's way earlier.
Yeah, I know that. It's definitely not Diablo. Oh my god!
This is for all the marbles.
It is for all the marbles. And it has like the drums tells me it has like a tribal kind of feel to it, so could be Act 2.
Ooh, you ready? You got 10 seconds left.
Oh my god, I don't even remember the names of all the bosses now. What's that fucking devil's name? That's Diablo 2. Oh, I'm thinking of Diablo 2 now. I'm thinking of Duriel.
Yeah. No.
Asmodan? Is it Asmodan? No! No! Belial? Oh, god damn it!
Close though, close. This one was the Butcher.
Oh my god! And Wendy did a Roadhog Butcher. I love the Butcher too. Oh my god.
Honestly, valiant effort. It was.
Yeah.
I feel like the Diablo ones were tough.
First of all, I think you finished with 6 out of 10.
I think it was
which is great. Well, you had like, I think you had.
It was 4 or 5.
4 of Pokemon already.
I think it was.
Yeah.
I think I got 5 out of 10.
And if we'd have given you 10 Pokemon Blues, I think you're gonna get 8 out of 10, no problem, kind of thing.
Yeah, those Diablo ones were tough. A lot of it, it's like name Beethoven's symphonies, like the 4th, the 3rd, it's real tough.
Yeah.
So you did well.
One thing is I
nailed it.
Actually, I feel like Wendy would have done some better, a better job on like soundtracks for games, because she actually listens to game soundtracks like Final Fantasy and all that, like Kingdom Hearts and all that stuff. For me, it's just more like wait for that ding. Sounds like a gem dropped. I hear that. Oh, that's a gem. Okay, let me go find that.
I thought about doing items and stuff like that, but I felt like that would have been just, I don't know, right? That ding and the potion sound and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's such a classic.
It's too easy.
Such a classic sound, right? That potion sound.
Yeah.
Man, the sound design that has gone into that game is actually
for sure.
really great.
Yeah.
And that's part of what makes it feel so awesome.
If you had thrown on some like old school like Super Nintendo, like Turtles in Time, I can tell you every single soundtrack for Turtles in Time, Link to the Past.
Damn, I should have.
Yeah,
I totally should have.
like, that's something I could tell you hands down, like I'd say 99% of the time, especially Turtles in Time. I can't tell you how many hours I put into that game.
Turtles in Time.
So can you just can you finish this quote from Super Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Yeah, Rob, nice.
Sensei says that patience is a virtue, but never pay full price for
late pizza.
Well done, sir. Well done.
Come on, man. What is this?
So good.
Yeah,
I was raised on the Turtles. I'm actually drinking out of a turtle cup.
Yes.
Matter. I got a turtle tattooed on me.
No, it's all my fault. I should have done turtle trivia.
That's cool, man. Don't worry about it.
Well done, Aaron.
It was fun. That's what matters.
This is
that was great. Yeah. Now I'm gonna go listen to those soundtracks. I gotta go listen to the Diablo soundtracks, and
finish up your 5 a.m. grind of Breath of the Wild.
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah. Yeah. I'm getting to the point now in Breath of the Wild where I've beaten the game and I've gotten so far in certain points that I'm just trying to play like all the fun stuff, like people doing the bomb launches and it can launch you halfway across the map, and like riding a tree and all that fun stuff, like just kind of jerking around in the game. So I will be up till 6.
I don't have a Switch and I've never played it.
I really want to. Like I'm gonna buy one and play it.
I bought a Switch just for that game.
Yeah.
Just for that game. I have other games on Switch, but I bought it just for Breath of the Wild.
The thing that's so cool about the Switch is there's a lot of games that you could just buy the Switch for, you know? Like the games are all so good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. For sure. Oh yeah. Fantastic. But yeah, I didn't play Zelda for a while. Like Ocarina, Majora, Link to the Past, yes. But then I stopped playing Zelda for a while, and then I came back in to play Breath of the Wild, and it was like I was like 7 years old again. And like
being a 3D artist, have you seen the Majora's Mask fan art video?
The short?
Yeah, the short.
Yeah.
Absolutely
so
beautiful.
good.
It's unreal, hey?
Oh, it's fantastic. I loved it so much.
Patty?
I was immediately like torn apart when it ended, and I was like, why is there not more of this?
So
please, somebody.
So Aaron, just so we can give you a chance to plug, where can people find you
Well, Instagram, we have a Twitter we hardly ever use, and Facebook, Married Makers, at Married Makers. I think on Facebook it might be The Married Makers. The website, marriedmakers.ca. That's about it. Hopefully soon, after this talk, maybe Twitch.
Yeah.
YouTube.
Definitely.
It's definitely something we're working towards. We want to have down the road. It's definitely giving me the confidence to and the little kick I needed, I think. And we've been a little dry on our posts lately, but we're starting to get back in the rhythm of things. For those who don't know, Wendy is due in 6 weeks, so we're going to have a little mini maker with us.
A mini maker, I love it.
Yeah, so I'm super excited for that, and
Awesome.
we've got so many costumes planned.
Yeah.
And it's everything I'm hoping for, and I got so many things planned, and I'm so excited. I cannot wait. Just so you know, we're having a girl, and I'm so excited for her to just be so embarrassed by her parents.
Yeah,
But
she
yeah,
will be.
check
She'll love
us
it.
out on Instagram. We're hopefully in the next few weeks, after the baby comes around, we will be right back on that horse and trying to bring out some new content and finally show the plethora of projects we have on the back burner.
Awesome, man.
We have a lot.
I'm stoked. I'm excited.
Thank you. So am I.
And pile on into that Instagram, look back through their excellent catalog of photos and work that they've done, and then once you're following there, they'll be ready to see anything else that you do in the future, right?
Oh, yes. Yes, you will. And hopefully you'll enjoy yourself. Because we certainly do. And that's all that matters.
Nice. Awesome. Well, that brings us to an end here of another episode of Pixel Scouters. For Aaron, for Rob, for myself, hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you all next week.
Thank you so much, and thanks for having me, guys. It was so fun.
Thank you, man.
You're the best.